I suppose, the politics of all this, it must be quite difficult for Rachel Reeves to be putting forward a tax plan that splashed on one of the tabloids this morning. You know, Labour's going to crack down on tax evaders and avoiders and all this sort of business. And yet one of her own is being accused of doing just that.
That's right. I mean, really, I think Rachel Reeves will be frustrated that there has been this distraction. And in many of her broadcast interviews this morning, that was one of the juicier subjects that people were keen to talk about. Now, obviously, Labour has made a really long-awaited announcement because everyone has been asking how the party can not be making unfunded spending commitments if commitments they'd already made had effectively the spending taken away from them by the Conservatives sort of stealing these policies and therefore leaving Labour with a black hole in its budget. But ultimately, the questions over Angela Rayner's sale of her former council house haven't gone away. Rachel Reeves gave her personal backing to Angela Rayner today. So has Keir Starmer. But Keir Starmer has been very careful to say that he hasn't seen the tax advice that Angela Rayner has received saying she's done nothing wrong.
Right, so let me just ask you then about some of the issues here, because I suppose we're not talking about a large sum of money here. So it could be a tax bill of, say, 1,500 quid. So in the scheme of things, that is not a huge amount of money when, of course, Rachel Reeves is talking about the billions that she thinks she's going to get from any tax plans. But it is about integrity and it is about telling the truth. And we know that a Prime Minister lost his job as a result of, shall we say, recollections may vary and various, cans of drinks or otherwise being served in Downing Street when they were all working anyway. So we know that these things matter. And I'm assuming that this is why the Conservatives continue to pummel, not because it's a large sum of money or it actually makes a scrap of difference, but this is about integrity. Can you trust these people with your money?
I think that's right. So people will know that the last few years of this Conservative government, there has been this sort of slew of sleaze allegations, which very much were in full flow under Boris Johnson, sort of slightly simmered down a little bit under Rishi Sunak, but they still have kind of carried on. And I think what the Conservatives are really trying to do is plant the seed in voters' minds that it's not just the Conservatives that might be acting like this. You know, people will read this as they're all as bad as each other. And I do think from Labour's perspective, given the amount of sort of cynicism we would expect to see in the public, given the sort of undermining of public standards in recent years that's gone on, it might not be a bad idea for Labour to release this sort of information in order to clear up any uncertainty.